There's a lot of robot vacuums on the market, and in some ways, the market's almost saturated with them. But every single one of them offers its own special feature. But I have to say, none of those features are quite like the one on this one. This is the SwitchBot S10, and today we're going to talk about it. So aesthetically speaking, the SwitchBot S10 looks like any other robotic vacuum. But what makes it special is right over here. This is the world's first dual station robot vacuum. This is, I guess, what you would call the water exchange system, where it pumps fresh water into the robot and then it takes the dirty water out. So while this is handling all of that, back over there, you have your charging base and your auto emptying dustbin. So the SwitchBot S10 retails for $1,199. Now, what do you get for that price? Let me show you what's included in the box. Inside the box, you get the vacuum itself, the base, the water station, and all of the installation accessories that you need to install that water station, or you can opt for the optional water station adapter. Then you have all your guides and manuals, a cleaning brush, a cleaning scraper that's actually secured inside the robot, 2 side brushes, 3 dust bags, including one that's already installed, 2 bottles of cleaning solution, and you can opt for an optional leak detector, which I highly recommend. Now, when it comes to installation, obviously getting this set up is really easy. SwitchBot does include nice cable management on the back of the dock. And if you know me, you know that I love my cable management when it comes to robot vacuums. So good job, SwitchBot. The most tedious process of the entire thing comes down to the watering system over here. This is probably what you're going to need help with the most, but SwitchBot does make it really simple because you can hook this up in a wide variety of ways. Right now, I have it running into my garbage disposal, but if you don't have a garbage disposal, that's okay. You can run it straight into the drain system on your kitchen sink, or if you don't want to do that, you can use your dishwasher, toilet, a bathroom sink, or even your washer. It's crazy how versatile this little system is. Installation probably took me about 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes tops. And as you can see, it is very, very compact. It fits nice and almost flush under my cabinet here. So even though SwitchBot makes the installation of the auto fill and drain water station really easy, you might encounter an accident. And when it comes to water, you want to try to avoid that as much as possible. And this is the reason why I highly suggest picking up one of SwitchBot's water leak detectors. You're going to want to put that leak detector right where you installed everything. So that way, at the second a drop of water comes off of that pipe and hits that detector, you can be alerted in the app and you can go in and fix it before it becomes a bigger problem. So when it comes to the auto fill and drain water station, there's a few things that you might need to know. As you can see, this thing is not plugged into the wall at all. Instead, it has an internal battery. So this will need to be charged every once in a while through the USB-C port located on the side. So one thing I recently learned is that the water station does not need to be charged manually via USB-C. The S10 actually charges it whenever it docks and exchanges the dirty water and replenishes the clean water. That is really cool. Secondly, there are a couple ports located up top. So the one on the far right with the flap, that's where you'll add the SwitchBot cleaning solution, and you should only use the recommended cleaning solution from SwitchBot. On the left-hand side, we have our filter. This will also need to be cleaned, and it will alert you inside the app to access the filter. All you're going to have to do is turn it and then pull up. It's a little bit difficult because it does have a seal. You'll pull out the filter and then you'll clean it. Now you might be thinking, Jonathan, I really don't want to have to deal with connecting the auto fill and drain system into my plumbing. That's okay. SwitchBot also makes this. This is an attachment that you can put onto the auto fill and drain water station as if it's a regular all-in-one robotic vacuum. You have your clean water tank and you have your dirty water tank. The difference between this and other robotic vacuums is you still have the benefit of having 2 different stations.
Put me back on the floor.
Not right now, little buddy. So when it comes to specs, the SwitchBot S10 isn't going to blow you away, but where this wins is convenience. For instance, when it comes to suction power, the SwitchBot S10 has a suction power of 6,500 Pascal. It does feature an anti-tangle roller brush. Thanks to its design, it prevents hair from getting caught up on that brush while it's cleaning, giving it even better cleaning performance. When it comes to the mopping capabilities of the S10, they are very, very good, especially when you consider the price point of this all-in-one robot vacuum. So I did a test using some apple juice to simulate like urine in case you have a dog and it pees on the floor. And I also put some Gatorade on the floor, which we all know how sticky that is because of all the sugar in Gatorade. Plus it's red, so it can stain white floors. And the S10 did a fantastic job at not only cleaning the apple juice, but getting rid of all of that red sticky mess from the Gatorade. The second test that I did was just using some good old Coca-Cola. So I put that on the floor, and we all know how sticky that can get after it's been sitting a while. So I let it sit for about 30 to 45 minutes. Then I went back and I mopped that area using the S10. And once again, it did a fantastic job. And one cool thing about the S10 is that it actually cleans the roller mop as it's being used due to the high RPMs. So that alone is going to give you a more efficient and proper cleaning versus traditional disc or circle shaped mops. Now, when it comes to obstacle avoidance, this does have AI cameras built on it. But is it the best obstacle avoidance I've ever seen? Absolutely not. But it does a fantastic job. It always makes itself back to the base. So in my personal opinion, that's a win. It also has lidar navigation, so it does excellent when it comes to mapping. In fact, it was able to map rooms that it couldn't actually see. But again, none of these things are class leading. Where it wins is that convenience factor. You don't have to do daily maintenance whatsoever. It docks itself, it empties its own dust bin, and the dust bag inside the charging station can last up to 70 days. It empties its own dirty water, so I don't have any smells in the morning. It also fills its own clean water, and it mixes its own detergent, so my floors are getting a cleaning solution applied to them that's also harmless to pets and small children, which I can definitely appreciate. I mean, even the roller brush is practically maintenance free, thanks to what SwitchBot calls the rinse sync mopping system. The first part of this system has to do with the roller brush spinning so fast while it's mopping that it actually cleans itself at 300 times per minute. The second part is whenever this robot goes back to the water station, it empties out the dirty water, then uses clean water to clean the brush. Then it goes back to the charging base where it auto empties the dust bin, then dries that roller brush at 50 degrees Celsius, making sure that everything is good to go during the next session. In the case that you do have to maintenance the roller brush, all you have to do is slide up the little compartment on the side of the robot, and you can easily access the roller brush without having to flip the robot over. Once it's clean, slide it back in, close the little panel, and that's it. Check this out. There's even a switch for what type of phone you're using, whether you're using an iPhone with iOS or an Android device with Android OS. And speaking of app, let's talk about that now. Everything is controlled through the SwitchBot app, which I definitely appreciate. This means I have access to the SwitchBot S10, as well as all of my SwitchBot smart home accessories, all within the same interface. If I tap on SwitchBot S10, it takes me to the main interface, which is my floor plan, and you can see I have all of my rooms labeled. You could separate rooms here, or you can join them. You could also see that I have the charging base right there, as well as the auto rinse and fill water station right there. If I tap on stations, you can see it takes me to the different functions. If I tap on settings, I can mark the water station position, which is something that you have to do on initial setup anyways. If I tap on drying time, I can assign the drying time from 1 all the way up to 8 hours. I can also toggle on and off auto dry mop. Going back into the station setting page here, I can tap on auto add solution, and I can toggle that on and off. But personally, I would just leave it toggled on if I were you, unless you really want that manual control. Right below that, we have maintenance reminders. Again, I would leave that toggled on because that's gonna alert you whenever you need to maintenance the different components of this robotic vacuum. On the main page here, I can start and stop a cleaning. I can also tap on where it says vac and mop, and from here, I can assign the suction power or the mopping water level. If you don't wanna mop, you can just tap on vacuum. If I go into the settings here, I can have schedules, but what's really cool is not only can I create a schedule cleaning, but I can create a schedule cleaning for a specific room. You can create multiple maps. Under carpet cleaning, our main toggle is carpet mode. I highly suggest leaving this toggled on. As long as it's on, whenever the robot goes over a carpeted area, it's going to increase the suction power, giving you a more thorough cleaning. Carpet cleaning modes down below, we have a couple choices. We have adapt to carpets, and then we have avoid carpets. Adapt to carpets is going to lift the roller mop, and then it's going to proceed onto those carpeted areas. However, if you're nervous about it, because maybe you have thicker carpeted areas, you can select avoid carpets and it won't go over those areas at all. And then under more features, we have things like AI obstacle avoidance. We have our child lock. Then we have auto resume cleaning. Whenever the robot gets low on battery, it's gonna go charge itself, and then it's going to resume any unfinished cleaning task once it's fully charged. Reduced collision mode is a bit of a weird one, but if you are worried about the robot bumping into corners and edges along your walls, you can toggle this on and it's going to avoid cleaning those areas. That way it doesn't scuff up the vacuum or your walls by going too close to those areas. And then we have manual control, which allows you to steer the robot vacuum using a D-pad on your phone screen. And below manual control, we have humidifier settings. So if you own a humidifier from SwitchBot already, or you're planning on picking one up, the SwitchBot S10 can make sure that humidifier is filled with water all of the time. So these are your refill settings that you can manually trigger, or better yet, you can select auto refill and it will make sure that your humidifier or humidifiers are automatically refilled whenever they get low. You could tie the S10 into your smart home assistant. So I'm using Amazon, but if you're using Google instead, you could do that. Or you can set up Siri shortcuts or use if this then that to pretty much tie it into any existing platform that you're currently using. All right, so let's wrap this up. If you're looking for a very convenient, very intuitive flagship robotic vacuum, the SwitchBot S10 may be the vacuum for you. Let me just put it this way. I've checked out a ton of robot vacuums on my channel. And in a market where features are kind of mundane, one might be a little bit better than the other, or this vacuum might have better obstacle avoidance than this one, or this one has higher suction power. This particular vacuum doesn't set out to break any boundaries with things like that. Instead, it's aiming to make your life easier, and that's what robot vacuums are about. The convenience and the user experience of the S10 is what sets it apart from the rest, and I can highly recommend this thing. If you guys really enjoyed this video, please consider dropping it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content like this. If you have any questions, comment down below, and I'll see you beautiful people in the next one.